Hi, welcome aboard. My name is Arnisa Jones, and this is how I work it. I'm gonna take you along with me for 24 hours with my beauty, wellness, and skincare routine. I spend about 27 hours a week at 35,000 feet. I can be gone up to 6 days in a week. My days can be 12 hours, 8 hours in the air, but the best part about it is I never really know where I'm gonna end up. I've witnessed some really cool things on flights. I got to see the birth of a baby. I've seen kids on their first flights, people on their honeymoons. A lot of cool things happen on flights.
It's about 6:15. I have to leave in 45 minutes. Time to get up and get ready for the day.
So everything is prepped and I'm getting ready for work. We have 3 flights today.
Cabin air is really dry. Your skin gets dried out really fast. So I try to put as much moisture on my face as possible before makeup. The first thing I do is wash my face with a Peter Thomas Roth brightening cleanser. It has glycolic acid in it, and I really like glycolic acid.
I move on to Mario Badescu Glycolic Toner.
So I have combination skin and my T-zone is very oily. So if I don't moisturize enough, my skin will overcompensate.
This has actually helped a lot of my dark marks fade a lot. Yeah, it should come off clean.
I use a lavender spray. This one when I'm flying is very moisturizing. I love the way that it smells, and it's just a nice prep before I put on my serum. I use this Glow Recipe pink watermelon juice.
It smells like Starburst. And this one goes on my neck.
My eyes get really dry underneath, and this helps to keep the moisture underneath my eyes so that my concealer doesn't grease. I went to an esthetician and she told me, you're actually in a large metal tube closer to the sun. SPF is a must. I'm in the air closer to the sun all day. I go for my SPF and moisturizer in one. It has guava and vitamin C, which is good for dark spots. Natural put together makeup is airline standard. You don't want any crazy colors, nothing too jarring because people have to look at you all day. Lighting is different on every aircraft type. I try to make my makeup good in natural lighting. That usually translates to every other light. I prime my face with my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter.
Take a pump and a half, rub it into my fingers.
I focus on my cheeks and my nose. That's where I get greasiest and my pores start to pop out. Eyebrows are my next step. I have sparse eyebrows. Even when you're doing the safety demo, having a really nice brow will have people pay attention to you.
I just flick up like hair strokes.
And then I go in and clean the bottom line with a concealer afterwards. As a flight attendant, you never know how long your days are gonna be. For me, an average workday, I try to choose 2 to 3 legs. So that 3-hour flight usually takes about 5 to 5.5 in total with prepping, boarding, deplaning, taxiing. So I err on the side of longer wear. So I use the Smashbox 15-hour wear. It lasts longer than 15 hours, I can attest to that. So I mix 2 colors, 4.2 and 4.3.
And I don't put foundation underneath my eyes. So less product around my eyes, the less I have to touch it up during the flight.
Next, we conceal. So my favorite concealer is by Wet n Wild.
It's like maybe $4.
I go on the side of my nose, and then if I'm being really dramatic, which I always am, I go 1 shade lighter and put that just in the middle, just to brighten it up a little bit.
Like so. I let that sit a little bit.
While I wait for that to get tacky, I put on my contour, and I just put a little bit on the sides.
And on my chin, because I have a cleft chin, I like to accentuate that. And most definitely on my forehead by my hairline.
So this I do blend out right away with a brush. I don't use sponges. I feel like they hold bacteria and they're harder to clean on layovers. Brushes take 5 minutes, you put some soap, you wash it around your hand, and they're dry by the time you get to your next hotel. I'm going to set the side of my smile lines. So as a flight attendant, you talk a lot, especially if you are the person in front making all of the PAs, and during service, you talk a lot. Makeup creases on the side of my face if I don't set it. I set my contour with a bronzer. And then I also contour my cleft chin, just cause. And I also use that as my eyeshadow. I started loving makeup in 3rd grade. That's actually when I got my first zit. A really big zit in the 3rd grade, and I took my mom's makeup to try to cover it. She found me out by the time I got home because nothing was blended. But I really just liked the process of putting on a face.
And we're just gonna quickly brush through my lashes.
I actually get eyelash extensions to avoid having to use mascara. When you fly, your eyes get dry. I wear contacts, so I use lubricating eye drops all the time, so I don't want to risk having mascara run down the side of my face while serving people. Next is blush. I like a lot of it, and then I blend this into my contour. So I love highlighter. Some people say that I overdo it, but I don't think you can. It brings that little extra pop when you turn your face. If you're talking to somebody, that little shimmer. I take it on my finger and I just apply it
down my nose and on the top of my cheeks. And we're gonna take a clean finger and just blend it in.
My lips get very dry, so I constantly apply Carmex. I try not to do anything crazy on my lips. Red is an approved color. I usually try to save that for the holiday season. During the year, I keep pinks, nudes, and a brown lip liner at all times. My favorite gloss is actually by e.l.f.
in the shade Mocha Twist. And I just think that lip gloss is easier to touch up in between flights compared to lipstick.
I use this continuous setting mist from Morphe. It sets everything in place. So this is my completed makeup. It takes me about 15 minutes at home or in a hotel to put on. As a flight attendant, you learn there is a basic formula to packing. You have a warm weather outfit, a cold weather outfit, a bikini because you never know if you're gonna end up in a nice tropical island. To repack a bag takes me about 5 minutes, and I'm out of the door an hour before I have to be at the gate. I'm heading inside. I'm gonna report to the gate, meet who I'm going to be working with flight attendant-wise for the next 3 days. Hey! This is my crew for the next 3 days. I hope you like me. Put all of your things away in the overhead bins, checking that you have everything for catering, and then you're going to start boarding shortly. When you're greeting somebody walking on a plane, you want to make them feel comfortable. You never know why a person is traveling. It could be good, it could be bad, and you don't want them to hesitate if they want to ask a question. I fly a lot of hours. I like working, so my hair, skin, nails, eyes, everything gets really dry. So I have to overcompensate. I use leave-in conditioners, I use masks.
And I just really focus this on the front of my hair. And look at the difference. The frizz is gone.
Hair gel can be drying. I make sure to use non-alcoholic hair gel.
So I'm gonna take a good amount and I just put it mainly on the perimeter, close to the part.
If your hair is too long, it does have to be pulled up, center to the back of your head. So that could be a roll, that could be a bun, it can be a ponytail, it could be a neat top knot. I just tend to pull it back into the slick back ponytail or bun, whether it's straight or natural. We have so many uniform options. I wear our dress. It is easy to pack. It's also flattering for me. It hugs my curves in all the right places. So you have your heels that you see all of your flight attendants walking around the airport in. You always get the question, how do you work in those? How do you walk? We do change shoes from heels to flats once we are in the air. I drink water whenever I think about it. So you think you've had too much water, you haven't. It's never enough. I actually got dehydrated my first year. I went for my annual physical and she's like, you are really dehydrated. In between flights, we either have no time or 2, sometimes 3 hours, but that's rare. So after we straighten everything up and prep our carts for the next flight, I usually try to check my makeup. Also, that's the time where you're gonna try to get in your lunch if you can. If we have the time between flights, I'd rather eat my lunch then where nobody's looking at me while I eat. So I think that a flight attendant has the same immune system as a kindergarten teacher. Your first year of flying, your body is getting used to this huge adjustment between the lack of moisture, general germs going through airports, on planes, meeting a whole bunch of people, shaking hands. Sometimes they want hugs. You get the worst cold of your life in the first, I would say, 90 days. Then you get it again in your 6 to 8 month mark. By the time you're at a year, you have one of the strongest immune systems you can imagine. I wash my hands a lot. Like a lot. Every time I wash my hands, I apply lotion. I carry little mini hand sanitizers with me everywhere and little mini bottles of lotion or Nivea hand cream. So I have 2 hours before I have to be at the gate for my next flight. I'm gonna get a little bit of fresh air
keeps me sane. Sit outside for like a half an hour and then head over to the gate. One more flight. Let's go home. Leg and day.
I think something people don't know is things taste slightly different in the air than they do on the ground. Sometimes salty foods are not as salty and sweet foods don't taste as sweet. So somebody will order something like a tomato juice and they're like, this doesn't taste quite right. And I'm like, well, your taste buds are a little bit different when you're in the air. You don't taste the salt as much. Bloating is a real thing. There are foods you can avoid, like salty foods, sugary drinks, sodas. I avoid excessive dairy and certain veggies just because you don't want to get too gassy during a flight. Depending on what city you're in and how long you have in that city. If you know your crew, you're gonna go out, have a drink, have something to eat, talk, catch up, because a lot of the people that you work with do become friends in real life because they have the same schedules as you. We just made it in time for last call. What time is it? It's basically midnight. 11:51, so it's basically midnight. This is the end of the day after 3 legs. Got Keisha over there, just a drink and some food before we go to sleep, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't care what kind of hotel you stay at. It could be a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star hotel. Always check for bed bugs. So do not put your luggage on carpet. If you can avoid it, don't put it on furniture. Leave it on hardwood floor, or most hotel rooms have luggage racks. Once you go from there, you beeline it to the bed and you check for bed bugs.
And I'll just pull all the pillows back, check the corners with a flashlight, which I don't have at the moment.
I feel like getting off the plane, I just want to wash everything off before I lay down in a bed. I use a Neutrogena skin wipe to take off my makeup. I will follow that off with Green Clean Cleanser, which is a balm to wash off the rest of the makeup. Then I go through with my Peter Thomas Roth cleanser and the same processes that I did in the morning, but instead of using my SPF and moisturizer in one, I'll use a serum and a L'Oreal night cream. After I do that, I'll use a sheet mask. I have dozens of them. I just pack 2 or 3 in my bag every trip. Whichever one I feel like my face needs, I'll use.
My thing is sheet masks never fit my forehead. So I'm fresh out the shower. I spend about 3 to 4, sometimes 5 minutes just rinsing out all of the product. I don't use shampoo on layovers. The hotel shampoo is too drying.
Hotel conditioners are really good to co-wash with. Some of them have sulfates, a lot of them don't now. That's really nice. Detangle in the shower, and when I get out, part my hair and put it in a bun. I don't make hotels homey, but that's the nice thing about it. It's almost like being on vacation every day. Oh, that moment when you hit the pillow is the best feeling in the world. Like, you don't even know. It's like letting out a sigh of relief when you hit that pillow.
Good night. This is what we really do on layovers. Eat way too much and watch Netflix. Yep.